seedless grape or?
It was a seedless red, yeah.
Bloody hell. Right.
I don't know.
Hello everyone and welcome to a very special video and also a very different video because usually here on HylianBandicoots, the greatest channel since PewDiePie and sliced bread, we usually do gaming videos, purely gaming, but this time we're going to do a different video. It's going to be based on the television series The Walking Dead. Woohoo! So, instead of Nick today, we have a special guest, Owen.
Hello everyone.
Right, so basically, we've been watching The Walking Dead Season 5, and me and Owen have been talking to each other after each episode and sort of having a little discussion and like sharing our predictions on the next episode and stuff like that. So what we decided we'd do this time around, what we decided we'd do for the finale is we're going to basically predict what happens on the finale, in the finale I should say. And we thought we'd record it because it would be quite fun to see whether any of our predictions were correct. So we're going to start off with like some sort of feasible predictions, and then for a bit of fun we're going to have some pretty ridiculous predictions as well. I've got a couple of pretty stupid ones, and hopefully Owen's got a couple of pretty stupid ones as well. But I'm going to let Owen kick it off because I've talked quite a lot now. So
Right. Predictions. First of all.
Oh, by the way, I should just preface this by saying there's going to be obviously spoilers for the whole of the Walking Dead show, and specifically like stuff that's happening in Season 5. So if you've not watched The Walking Dead, then don't watch this video because you'll be doing yourself an injustice, because it's an amazing program. So don't spoil the program for yourself.
This is about zombies, so it's not for the faint of ear.
And also, a couple of my predictions, like I've not read the comics, but a couple of my predictions are based on little things that I know about the comics. So I'll warn you, I'll warn people when I'm about to say something that's sort of relevant to the comic. So if you don't want to spoil yourself anything at all from the comic, I'm not going to go like massively into depth on stuff from the comics and ruin it, but there's like one or two little things that I know that are not really spoilers. But if you really don't want to know anything, then fair enough. But okay, go on.
Right. Well, I think the biggest thing is Alexandria's not going to last.
Okay.
Definitely not.
All right. Well,
like we've seen Woodbury,
yeah,
and the farm and the prison, and everything's fallen at some point.
Yeah.
Alexandria, easy come, easy go, innit?
Okay. I think there's going to be a massive shit fest inside of Alexandria, but I think the wall, like the foundation of the wall itself, and so ultimately like the protection of the area is going to be still standing at the end of the finale. What I think is going to happen is there's going to be a split in the group between Rick and like Glenn and that, like people who are loyal to Rick, and then Michonne, and then like her own little group inside of Alexandria who are still going to be there at the end of the finale. That's what I think. We've seen
in this season like Rick and Michonne have got a bit of a power struggle going on.
Yeah.
Especially at the start when Rick was cynical of Aaron and the idea of Alexandria, and Michonne was like, "No, let's go. Don't see it."
But that could. I don't think they're completely opposite though, because Rick did try, and Michonne, we saw in that episode, the most recent episode, like when Michonne starts shooting the walkers and says to Sasha, this isn't for you. It's because she's like yearned for like killing walkers, because she still has that inside of herself, so she's not completely innocent. So, but,
yeah.
Right. My turn then.
Go on.
The ball's over in my court, and I'm going to go in with a little bomb here, a sex bomb, by Tom Jones, right? And I'm going to say, I really hope this doesn't happen, but potentially Maggie, like, we usually have a massive death at a mid-season finale or a finale, so I'm going to say a death prediction. I really hope this doesn't happen, and I'm kind of split whether it's going to happen, but I think Maggie like is in danger of dying. Like certainly out of the group, she's in the most danger of dying out of everyone, because like we saw there's a preview for the finale, and it's like Glenn crying like over someone trying to shake them, so it could be Maggie. I don't know. I feel like I feel like she is just the most at danger, but at the same time, we've hardly seen her this half season, so that could like. And usually, if someone's going to die, they'll show them quite a lot so that we get the most out of them before they die. Yeah, so I obviously hope it doesn't happen, and I probably don't think it'll happen, to be honest. But I think that's like she's in the most danger of dying. One of the most like people in danger out of the whole group.
Yeah, the only she's the only member of the farm family. I think that's a fact that's sort of in her favour.
Yeah.
Because if she dies, then that's all the farm family dead.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like compared to people like Rick and Daryl and Glenn and Carol, like she's not been with the group as long. She'd be like one of the most severe ones to see die that isn't within the actual core group.
Yeah. Also, I've got like various stills from the show, so I'm just gonna be clicking through them like while we're doing the video. But I don't know I can't really remember what images I've got, but hopefully they're all right. But anyway, another death prediction, and not necessarily a death prediction, but a problem prediction. Actually, I'm just gonna go down my list instead of fucking picking random ones, because then I won't know which ones I've said. But Eugene, we saw in the episode where rest in peace Noah dies. That was a really graphic episode. It was a really good episode, but really shocking as well.
Horrible.
But I think we saw Eugene sort of like grow some balls in that episode and carry. He carries Tara out of the little warehouse, doesn't he? He carries Tara out of the warehouse. So I think in this episode, shit's gonna kick off in Alexandria, and then like Tara's gonna be by herself because obviously she's like sort of knocked out or something because of she's still like in pain. And I think Eugene's gonna like try and protect her and save her or something like that because Eugene's got something going on there. Yeah. So I think that's gonna happen. All right.
I love that. I love that transformation. Like
yeah.
Eugene coming out like realizing that he's got to start killing walkers.
The bit when he drives the truck past was a fucking brilliant moment, but it was instantly like destroyed by the fact that Noah dies about 30 seconds after it happens. So it's like
face Rick though.
Yeah. So
rest in pieces.
Yeah, rest in pieces. Rest in pepperonis.
This is a prediction that a friend of mine suggested.
Yeah.
In college. You know that we've seen through the episode those the like dismembered bodies and the walkers with the W's on their head.
Yeah.
Like, sure, there's got to be some sort of link. She suggested that maybe those are the people that Alexandria have like cast away or something.
Yeah,
like if there's a deeper, darker side to them or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm still curious about that one that we see on the on the tree that Daryl finds.
The what that Daryl finds?
The woman that's been tied to the tree.
Oh yeah, and she's not actually a walker. She just died there, and then she comes back as a walker. Yeah.
But she's got the W.
Yeah, that's a good point actually. My thought on that is, I think it's either the girl that Carl's hanging around with. She's sort of. I initially thought that because she was sneaking out, she was the one who was going to be carving the W's into the heads.
Right.
Maybe just to mark them or something like that. But then I don't think it's her anymore because of that woman that was on the tree, because that was like, obviously I don't think she's going to be able to have done that, because I don't think she's got enough egg timers to be able to tie thingy around a tree. But I think this is sort of a comic spoiler, but it doesn't spoil any of the story. It's just a group from the comics that I've sort of heard about. I don't really know anything about them, but apparently there's a group called the Wolves in the comics.
Oh yeah.
Which is another group and not Alexandria. So I think the thing could be the Wolves. I don't know anything about them other than the Wolves, but maybe if Rick gets exiled from the group, he sort of maybe finds the Wolves and gets either caught in the crossfire between the Wolves and Alexandria, or maybe even joins the Wolves because they're sort of like doing what they can to survive, sort of the same ideology as Rick, and so they sort of he sort of like takes a liking to the wolves because they're not as weak as Alexandria, which means Alexandria's in for a lot of shit because they're all
almost
weaklings,
like
really.
almost like the Governor Part 2.
Yeah, yeah,
Where he joins a caravan club.
yeah. Oh, that would be brilliant. Trailer, my big fat gypsy wolf.
Yeah, because I've seen stuff on like the subreddits and that about the wolves, and I never really looked into it because I don't want to. Like,
yeah, I don't want to spoil it either. Yeah, but if they are a
that
group,
makes more sense if it's a W.
Yeah. The other thing is as well as in the preview episode, Rick says they're gonna hunt us and they're gonna find us, but when they do, we're gonna kill them. I don't think Alexandria would send people out to hunt Rick because they probably know they'd get destroyed because it's Rick Grimes. Let's be honest.
Absolutely.
So it could be Alexandria trying to hunt him, but I imagine Rick gets exiled with and then a couple of other people from the group join him, like Glenn maybe because Glenn's like so loyal, and then they sort of find out that the wolves are coming for them, and then that's when he says that line, maybe.
Right.
Oh, shit. Right, another. Go on. Sorry.
Go on. You do
Nah, I was going to start another one. So if that's another point onto this point, then.
I was just going to say, I think Enid is probably going to join that group. I doubt she'll die soon.
Yeah, is Enid the Carl girl?
That one that Carl's going.
Okay. Yeah. I actually think that she's going to die in the finale.
Think so?
Yeah, because it's sort of. I think it's the sort of thing that would happen because, I think you always see Carl's lost quite a lot, and then he's been quite robotic, with emotion for quite a while. After the episode where Rick was in a coma after the season 4 mid-season finale, he's been quite robotic after that episode. So I think he's finally starting to show a bit of humanity towards this girl, and I think it's just going to get taken away from him instantly, and then that's going to start more of a downward spiral for him, Rick style.
Probably. And you say A-levels are good?
Yeah, I know. Right, this is a bit of a more of a light-hearted one now. So we saw the red balloon in the episode that floats the kid.
Oh, yeah.
The kid lets go of it, and Rick sees it going into the sky when he's having the fight with Pete. It was quite a symbolic little thing. I think Rick is going to obviously Rick's very angry because he gets knocked out by Michonne. I think he's going to find a packet of balloons and sort of to take out of his anger, he's going to inflate a fuckload of red balloons, and then possibly even maybe Up style, like Carl Fredrickson from Up. He's going to tie a fuckload of balloons to himself and then just fly into the sky. So maybe
away from all the conflict.
Yeah. That's
up until the point where he floats off into a blimp and meets his once thought hero, now evil man.
No, he'll fly into the sky and loads of balloons and then land on a cloud, and then he'll sort of just sit on a cloud and sort of ponder for the rest of the finale.
That'll be it. 1 minute of that.
Yeah.
89 minutes of pondering.
Yeah.
Can you imagine they actually find the packet of balloons?
I hope they do, to be honest.
He goes into some montage scene to 99 luft balloons, and they're all just having a whale of a time.
Yeah, either that or there's a load of already inflated balloons, and Rick inhales the helium from one of them, and then he tries to do some sort of serious monologue. But he's just got helium, so he just sounds like an knobhead. That would be funny.
I was going to attempt to drop a Rick line in a high voice, but I thought I don't think
it doesn't have to be like this. We can all go home. That's my best Rick Grimes impression.
It'd be like, he's got his balloon and he's stretching the neck and he's like, this is not a dictatorship. I said dictatorship instead of democracy.
No, that's what the woman says. The I can't remember what the woman's called. The Alexandria main leader woman. What's her name? Diana. Yeah.
Diana.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Diana.
what she says.
Right.
I just want what's best for Lori and Carl.
Maybe.
Carl.
Alright.
We don't kill the living.
Alright.
Yeah, that's one thing.
Yeah.
Like Rick has pretty much survived off being the Rictator.
Yeah.
And with his small council made of like the Grandmaster Firestar that is Daryl Dixon. And yeah. And you know, like, all his little like closer chums like Glenn and Daryl.
Yeah.
And he's more or less like he's always gotten through by being the decision maker.
Yeah.
And being like the sort of plan maker and shit like that. So
yeah.
If anyone's going to try and tell him that he has to sit back and be polite and wait his turn, then he's not going to enjoy that.
Yeah, I know. Which is what Michonne's doing, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
So.
Michonne's always sort of been. I think she's always sort of had this moral voice or moral reasoning over Rick. Like she's always been the one who's got like the sort of more ethical idea.
Yeah.
If that's the word.
Yeah. But at the same time, she doesn't want to lose her edge because she's like one of the most skilled fighters in the group. Like especially without a gun, she's probably the best without a gun.
Yeah.
Actually, Abraham would probably give her a run for her money. But she is probably the best without a gun. Like she's got the best skills, so she wants to make sure that she doesn't lose her little fruit ninja skill. Alright, have you got another prediction?
Trying to think. What's happened in this episode? We've not seen a lot of Daryl. And Daryl,
No,
last time we saw him, it was him and Aaron found that light, didn't they?
The
I'm
light.
hoping Morgan's going to make an appearance.
Yeah. That's one of my predictions is Daryl and Aaron are out on a hunt, and they come across Morgan. So they find Morgan, and then I've got a feeling that it's going to go a bit pear-shaped because I don't think Daryl's going to like Morgan, because if Morgan's anything like he was when we last saw him in season 3, he was mental then. I think he's going to be better now, but I don't think he's going to be as sound as he was in the very first episode.
Yeah.
So he's going to be a little bit weird, and I don't think Daryl's going to take to him. But because the only person out of the group that Morgan knows is Rick, so unless he sees Rick, then he might be a bit of a knobhead. Yeah. So you don't know. Like it would suck ass if Daryl and Morgan like didn't get along, and then it didn't end up with Morgan joining the group, because everyone really wants Morgan to join the group. So it's going to be really shit if that happens. But I think Daryl and Aaron are going to find Morgan, and then but hopefully he does end up joining the group. Yeah.
So play nice.
Yeah. So play nice.
I can't imagine. I'm looking forward to his story, Morgan, because
yeah,
he's for someone who's been in all of like 3 episodes, he's had a well-good transformation.
I think I'd happily see an episode of Morgan. You know, like
just on his own. Morgan gets his own spin-off.
Yeah.
Morgan dead.
The Morgan Freeman or something. Well, because we had that throwaway episode with just the governor by himself. You know, when he like had the beard and all that, and he found that new family.
Yeah.
Like they could even have an episode with how Morgan got from being mental to finding the group. Like maybe even that would be really cool. But so they could even do that. Yeah.
I know it's on. Alright.
Right. So this is another big prediction. We saw pardon me. We saw Abraham in the episode. I don't think it was the last episode, but I think it was the episode before, where they're going. I don't actually know what they were doing fully, but they're doing some sort of building work or some shit. And
they're stripping that construction site or whatever it was.
Yeah, and Abraham's kills loads of walkers, but before that, he actually he's like leaning on the truck, and it sort of zooms in and like shows his like heartbeat on it sort of does like a pulse thing, and then he's like sort of like breathing heavily as if like he's like
Everything
having some
slows
sort
down,
of as if he's sort of having some sort of breathing problem, or like maybe like I don't know whether he's got like stress or something, but like, and he calms himself down by taking out the walkers. But I think he's gonna end up. I really hope he doesn't die, because he's one of my favourite characters now, because I just love him. But hashtag son of a dick. But like, and the knockout punch on Eugene was one of the best things I've ever seen in my life. But like, I really love his character, but I think like he's gonna have some sort of maybe like a heart attack or something.
Yeah,
like,
and heart attack hasn't been done yet.
Yeah, like, because it would be really cool. It would be really like interesting to see. You know, we always see characters dying by either getting killed by humans or getting killed by walkers, but it would be really cool to see someone who seems so powerful, like can kill walkers so easily, actually end up getting killed by himself, because he just runs himself into the ground, like, and ends up having a heart attack. Like, it would be quite ironic for that to happen, but it would be cool.
I like that idea. The only time they really explored it was in the prison when the disease broke out.
Yeah, that ended up getting stale though. I thought, like, yeah, well, it started off when it first broke out. It was a cool idea, but then it got old pretty quickly. I thought it got a bit boring. But it was a good, it was a good episode with Herschel, when Herschel's got that band balaclava on and he takes out the walker, when he's like lying on that net or something. That was cool.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
And I like Abraham as well, in that for such a tough cookie.
Yeah.
He's he's been through shit. Like,
yeah.
You see those scenes of him before he meets Eugene.
Yeah.
Where is it like his wife and daughter or something?
Yeah.
I think he's like gone mad and they try and run away from him and end up getting killed.
Yeah, like he's so he needs something to set his mind to, or else he'll just end up fucking like going insane.
Yeah.
Like, he was sat there not doing anything, and then as soon as walkers appear, like, okay, done, go.
Yeah.
Like, he's the sort of person that would join Rick on an outside group, like, because he's the sort of person who would go out with Rick and be in Rick's group, rather than, say, like, Michonne staying inside. Like, I think the type of people to stay with Michonne would be, there's actually not that many that would want to stay with Michonne, to be honest. I think maybe I think Carl would agree with her, but Carl would ultimately end up going with Rick because it's his dad. I think Maggie would want to stay with Michonne as well, but Glenn is obviously quite loyal to Rick. But to be fair, Glenn is the difference from Rick, because there's a lot of times when Glenn has had the opportunity to do stuff. Like, if you think about, when Glenn lets Nicholas live, like he knocks him out, but then he doesn't kill him. Like, if that was Rick, the guy would be dead. So that's the difference between Rick and Rick and Daryl, and say like Glenn, because Daryl would probably kill the person as well. But I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think something's going to happen with Abraham, because they wouldn't have had that for nothing, would they, really? So. No,
not at all. Like, you can tell those shots were there for a reason.
Yeah. Right.
I reckon, long-term prediction, Washington DC is going to come back into it.
Yeah.
After all the palaver that's been made about it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that. It does seem plausible, definitely.
Seems like the next logical step.
Yeah, especially if Alexandria falls, which is likely. So, but I think it will. I think it'll be standing at the end of the season, but it will feel different, because the dynamic of it being peaceful inside there will be like completely gone by the end of the thing. Right. I've not got Okay, yeah. I've got a couple more there. I've got a couple more predictions. Have you got any more?
Not so much predictions. I've got some like sort of ideas and short. short-term future. But go on.
Okay, okay, right. I've got a couple more. One of them is I've put Father Gabriel dies. Hopefully.
Oh my God! What a bastard.
So what a knobhead. He betrayed the group. I
You know
don't.
what? As well, when he's saying like they've done horrible things
Yeah.
or done things for themselves that have caused misery for other people, he fucking
Yeah.
locked himself in his church while his entire Congress was getting mauled by walkers.
I know.
What a bastard!
I know. He is an absolute twat. I don't know. Like you do slightly feel for him because like if he hadn't let all those people die, I would still like him because when he's saying that they're the devil, like you can kind of see where he's coming from because he might just see conflict in people who like deal any sort of like violent damage and kill walkers. He can see that as like bad, but he fucking let people die, so you know what I mean, like he's like a hypocrite within himself. But I don't know. But I think I was quite disappointed like when he announced, like at the end of that episode when Maggie finds him doing that, I was like really disappointed with him, to be honest, because when we first met the character of Gabriel, I was like, right, this guy's gonna die quite fast. But then he ended up staying alive for like quite a while. He survived longer than Noah, and like eventually I thought, right, I reckon he's going to be in it for like quite a while. To be fair to him, and I don't mind that because I don't mind new interesting characters because we'd never had someone like him on it before. But then when he does this, you know that he's got no future with the group, which kind of disappointed me because, like, there's no point, So, but I think that could, like, I say Maggie is in danger. I really hope she doesn't die. And to be honest, I don't think they would do that. But maybe Maggie could put herself in danger by trying to save Gabriel, even because that's the sort of thing that Maggie would do, even though Gabriel's in trouble and he is a knobhead and she knows he's a knobhead, she'd still try to save him because she's a good person, and then that'd put her in danger. And I've got the same sort of idea for Nicholas as well, who's the guy who chatted shit about trying to save people when in actual fact he just ended up getting Noah killed. I think Nicholas is going to get in trouble and then Glenn's going to save him. Because Glenn's not a knobhead like that, and then Glenn might end up putting himself in danger for Nicholas. But ultimately, I hope Gabriel and Nicholas both meet their end. And to be honest, I hope it's at the hand of Rick because Crazy Rick's my favourite thing on the programme. And when people meet their end by Rick, it's more satisfying than when they meet their end by walkers.
Getting eaten or something like that.
Yeah. Alright.
I had something then. I forgot what it was. I had a thing.
Stuff and things.
It's gone. It's gone with the wind.
Gone with the wind. I can talk for fucking England, so.
Go on.
Alright,
Go ahead.
I think I've got one
Represent
more.
the country.
One more.
2016 Olympics. You can have
2016 tongue twister Olympics. Just realised that Abraham's been on the screen for about half an hour. Right.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing at all, but Abraham hiding behind a car, right? There's a Daryl and Rick.
Oh, that was it. I found it. Oh, yeah. One thing I'm curious of how they're going to get around now is how they can make, like, you know what you say about like Glenn putting himself into danger?
Yeah.
Like, we see characters go into danger a lot, and usually it's a case of like a close shave or they just die.
Yeah.
So I don't know how many more ways they can make a close shave still be interesting. Like we've seen like limb amputation and everything now.
Yeah. I don't think they would have limb amputation for Glenn or Maggie. I think if they die, they die. One thing was because like I don't know, like Glenn appears all the time as well. Because if you look at Rick in the comics, this is sort of a spoiler, but sort of not. Rick loses his hand in the comics, and by this point in the TV show that should have already happened, but because he's on screen all the time, like obviously it wouldn't be clever for them to do that because he'd have to be walking around with like a fucking green sock on his hand the whole time. So obviously it would be better for them to just let him keep his hand. So but yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you. I don't want to say anything more about it, but yeah, you would know that anyway. It's not that much of a spoiler, and I already did admit that comics would be getting another comic thing. Again, it's not really a spoiler, but I've already told you about this. Is the Jesse character that Rick sort of falls for? That's Pete's thing, and initially you're sort of thinking, well, Rick's becoming Shane now because he's trying to be Mr. Steal Your Girl.
Yeah, sure.
Exactly. He's trying to like steal this girl. But then when it's revealed that Pete's hitting her, you kind of like, all right, well, at least Rick has some like reason for stopping Pete now. But in the comics, if you remember in the TV show, obviously Andrea dies in the season 3 finale. Rest in peace, Andrea. She wasn't that sound, like, but I mean, it's still.
I hate that.
Yeah. You, even if you think people like that are knobheads, though, you still like sort of feel sad when they die because they've been there for so long since season 1. So yeah, but in the comic book, she's still I don't know. I don't actually know for sure, but she's still alive. And obviously, as I say, I've not read the comics, so I don't really know anything about them. But as far as I know, she has some sort of relationship with Rick later on, and even just
Rick
from
Shane.
yeah. Well, I don't actually know if Shane gets off with Andrea in the comic. In the comics, that was just something they did in the show, wasn't it? But yeah. Well, Rick gets sloppy thirds with Laurie, really, doesn't he? Because
oh shit! I suppose
yeah, but
first and thirds.
But yeah, purely from the look of Jessie, like she looks kind of like she's blonde and she's sort of similar to Andrea, like bit in build and stuff like that. So maybe she could be like the TV version of Andrea. So we could we might end up seeing like the sort of thing they did in the comic, but with Rick and Jessie instead of Rick and Andrea. So that might be something. But also, I think there's the danger of Jessie dying in the television program, but I don't think that'll happen. I think maybe one of her kids will die, like the little kid will die. The little kid will die, and then she'll be like, well, fuck my life, I might as well go with Rick now. Another thing, which is possible that I've just thought of, is Carol is in quite a big danger of dying, I think, this season, because she's fucking kicked ass this season. And I think she's one of the most, out of the 5 season 1 people, she's in the most danger of dying, I think. And I think she might try and save the kid, like in a similar situation to Maggie with Gabriel, or Glenn with Nicholas. That kid might be trying to like run in for some like cookies, and then she runs in for some cookies, and then the zombie comes to get her, and then Carol goes in, saves the kid, but loses a life, and she must face the way of the warrior.
Let the challenge begin.
Yeah.
You have collected 8 gold cookies. For that, you gain a life. For that, you gain a bar of chocolate.
Don't tell anyone.
Apologise to any.
You tell anybody, I'll tie you to a fucking tray and watch the walkers eat you alive.
Apologies for the.
Jelly from your eyes.
This is the part where you run away.
How good would it be if Shrek cameoed in The Walking Dead?
Imagine, as a walker, like getting shanked through the heart, and all his like old blood falls out of it. He's like better out than in. That's what I always see.
Yeah, that would be fucking brilliant.
Carol's interesting to be honest, because she's gone from losing, being like one of my least favourite characters.
Yeah.
and just absolutely useless.
Yeah.
She lost Sophia.
Yeah.
And then she had this big like sort of evolution through the series where she's like, she pulls the trigger on that psycho kid who kills her sister, and then now she's just being a twat to this little boy. Like, it's almost like she sort of lost her motherliness over time, and this kid's making her sort of remember.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good point. That's a really good point, actually, because she kind of had that with she treated someone like because what I can't remember who it was, but she sort of saw someone as Sophia, like she sort of like after Sophia died, like she's almost fully gone, aren't she, really? And then but one, like the kid, oh, that's it. It was the Lizzie and Lizzie and Thingy. Yeah, the two girls. She sort of saw Sophia in them, so she was sort of acting as like some sort of mother to them. And then after they've gone, like, that's game over then, isn't it, really? Like, she's fully gone. But I think it's going to be interesting this episode, seeing when she drops the facade of being the little cooking mama too in Alexandria. Because like at the minute she's trying to chat and shit about being, this completely innocent little woman.
Yeah.
And obviously that's going to have to drop if stuff kicks off in the camp. So yeah.
Drop like it's on.
Yeah. Well, that's more or less all of the predictions I have. I'll just have a look if I have any more. I've got the final thing I have is we saw Rick shaving his beard. The shot was similar to the way Shane shaves his head in season 2. So that it was kind of like it was It was kind of the connection between Rick and Shane, like Rick becoming Shane. And this is nowhere near as deep as that. But basically, Rick collects his beard trimmings in a Tupperware box, and then either puts it into people's food to cause some. Either
I'm actually interested now.
He either puts it into people's food as some sort of like mild disturbance, as a way of like passively getting back at them, for exiling him.
What mild disturbance?
Like on the South Park episode, Scott Tenorman must die when he puts his pubes in the chili. Yeah, and then he ends up putting his parents in the chili. Well, he could do that, and also maybe what he does is puts his hand over someone's nose, ties someone up, puts his hand over the nose, and force feeds them his own beard, or force feeds them his own beard to kill them, or Carl sort of acts like a girl, so he force feeds Carl his own beard so that he'll evolve into a man, sort of like how Mario takes a super mushroom and evolves into Super Mario. Carl will take Rick's beard and evolve into Super Carl. That could be a possibility.
No, if any prediction's gonna come true, it's gotta be that one.
Yeah, I know.
What if lovely Rick Grimes? Does he have a middle name at all?
Rick.
Do any of the characters have middle names?
Rick Elodian Grimes.
Right, so Rick Elodian Grimes, or Big Reg as some people like to call him. Rick, right, here's my all-in prediction. If this doesn't happen, then I'm not watching The Walking Dead anymore. Right.
If Rick trims, we riot.
Everything blows over in Alexandria. Everyone gets along again. Jesse says, "I don't want to see you anymore." Jesse says, "I don't want to see you anymore" to Rick, because Pete has genuinely become a loving, caring husband again. And Rick, out of sheer rage and feeling like he's protected by the law, but because he is the law, goes and pushes over Jesse's owl, and then the group leave Alexandria.
So all that happens in an hour and a half is Rick breaks the owl out of anger and then just like sort of regrets it and then just walks away.
Yeah. But there's 20 minutes. There's a 20-minute long scene where Rick stood on the road outside a house debating whether to do it or not. And people are starting to look.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. Well, I've just realised that. Yeah, I think we've covered pretty much everything. Apart from, I just want to make 2 quick points that I just remembered we'd not made. I feel like we didn't talk about Daryl that much. So, but there's not that much to say about Daryl other than I think we think he's
seen him a lot, have we?
No, but I think we'll see him quite a bit more this part with Aaron. I think he's going to encounter Morgan, but also there's been talks about Daryl being gay. I don't think that.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I don't think that's going to happen at all, to be honest. As much as it would be quite cool, like, but there's already like 2 gay people in it. There's no one for him to be gay with. So even if he was gay, it wouldn't sort of be shown. You know what I mean? Like if anything, it's going to be romance between Carol and Daryl.
Yeah. It's funny. Like I've seen people saying stuff like, you know, Aaron. I don't know his boyfriend's name.
Yeah, I don't. Or Kurt, to be honest, because he's a lesser character.
Aaron and Raphael invite him to his house. And I've seen people say stuff like Daryl will start to prefer their company, and eventually it'll just turn into like some weird 3-man like orgy love triangle.
But
Daryl Dixon.
I feel like those articles on him being gay are just for like views. You know what I mean? Like I don't think it's something that's plausible.
You know what you have reminded me of? Actually, just thinking. I just want to mention this. That scene where Daryl like sort of accepts that Beth dies.
Yeah.
You know, where he goes like towards the start of the half season.
Yeah.
And he just goes on his own and like just lights a cigarette and starts crying.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a really good scene. I really do like Daryl, and I think we will see quite a lot more of him in this episode. And if anything, I hope we see him eating more spaghetti because that was good.
Daryl spaghetti.
Yeah. His arms are heavy, knees weak. Palms are sweat. Palms are sweating. There's Walker blood all over his sweater already. Aaron's spaghetti. That's about it. But also one just final little thing that we didn't mention was Sasha Baron Cohen.
Yeah.
Tyrese's little sister.
Shona. I don't know why, but I want to call her Shona.
Well,
I've actually got it written on my notes here, Shona.
Sure, that's not like Michonne. Or
maybe I've shipped them in my mind. Maybe I've made them into one. But yeah, Sasha is the name.
Yeah, well.
Is that right? No racism intended on this podcast.
Well, our podcast. What an honour to be called a podcast.
I don't think it just fell right out of my mouth.
Yeah, it feels right though, doesn't it? It feels right. If it's over the 35-minute mark, that's podcast right there. That's podcast material right there.
How long have we been at?
We're on 43 minutes, so we'll try and get it wrapped up for 45. But it'll be a nice little podcast. But basically, Sasha, she's going a bit mental. I think she's gonna go out. I don't know what to say about her, really. I think she's going to go out with a bang, and I think she might die this season because she's restless and she's careless as well. And I think somewhat. Yeah, she takes her eye off the ball. She's distracted.
R.I.P. Ty, by the way.
Yeah, rest in peace, Tyrese. I'm still not over that.
And all the eyes on all the food.
I know. I'm quite pissed off about that death, to be honest with you. Like I wasn't angry about Bob's death, and he was one of my favourites, but Tyrese, I just felt like it was just like a stupid death, tainted meat.
Fucking classic. Although when he starts having to go at his like hallucinations.
Yeah. It was a good episode, but is the fact that he died just kind of pissed me off because like it was just annoying.
It was him just holding out. And then he just died.
The fact that Noah dies later on makes it even worse because that episode was for Noah, and it kind of meant that Tyrese died for nothing because Noah ended up dying like a few episodes later.
That's one thing I don't like about Noah, because everyone's deaf.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, that's about it from me and you, isn't it? This season's been fucking amazing, and I can't wait for the finale.
Yeah,
like I think it's definitely been like I think my favourite episode was the first episode of the season, to be honest, when they break out of Terminus, because so much happened in that. So if the finale is anything like that, then it's going to be one of the best episodes of the season, and especially if they've got an hour and a half, like, it's film length, so we have the possibility to get, because they can't focus on every character in a regular episode, they have to leave certain ones out because they've not got enough time. But I feel like they've got enough time for everyone to have like a good moment in this episode, so I hope it's going to be really good. But
Is this the first hour and a half finale we've seen?
Yeah, I think so. Well, because the first season was all hours, wasn't it? Yeah, and then it's been 45 minutes since then. I think they might have been a bit longer at mid-season or season finales, but they've never been like an hour and a half long, so it's going to be really good.
Wonderful.
And we'll finish off.
Right.
Who's your favourite character?
He's my favourite character.
Yeah.
It was Ty.
Was it? Oh, that was six then.
Ty's gone now.
No.
I suppose Daryl, if anyone.
Okay.
Lovely Daryl.
My favourite character is Rick Grimes. Team Rick. Shit happens. Right. If you're still listening at this point, thank you very much for listening. I hope you have enjoyed our predictions. Please feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below, leaving your own predictions, and saying if you like our predictions, and saying which ones you agree with and which ones you don't agree with. And also, like, I hope if you enjoyed this sort of format that me and Owen have done, then be sure to like tell us that you like it, because I've enjoyed doing it. If you enjoyed doing it,
yeah, it's been really good.
It's really fun. Like, and also if we do it more, it'll probably become more natural as well. I apologise for the call quality. I'm just recording Skype at the minute. If we ended up doing more, like we might end up even meeting up or whatever, but like to record it on one microphone, that would be fun.
I don't apologise.
Yeah.
I don't apologise.
Yeah, fair enough. I personally apologise, but that's fine.
Never apologise for a damn thing.
Fair enough. You know what? Actually, fuck that. I take back my apology. You don't deserve my apology because I'm doing this for fun.
If you like this video, then fuck off. You know, I can't be words up. If you like this video, then unsubscribe.
If you don't like this video, then you know what? Fuck off, because I don't need people like you. Negative people. And on that bombshell, topical, because Jeremy Clarkson's been fired from the BBC. On that bombshell, it's time to end. Also, if anyone, just as a little side note, if anyone from the BBC is listening, I am available to replace Jeremy. Hey,
hang on. Non-Walking Dead related rumour. Have you heard who may be replacing him?
Zayn Malik.
If only it was Steve Coogan.
Okay. I would be okay with that, but I don't want the programme to be called Top Gear anymore. Like, I want a car show with Steve Coogan. I don't want Top Gear with Steve Coogan, because Top Gear's not Top Gear if it's not got Jeremy Clarkson. You know what I mean? So, I do like Steve Coogan, though. To be fair, he could probably do a Jeremy Clarkson impression, and then everyone would just believe it, wouldn't they? So, but anyway, that's that. Thanks very much for watching.
Join us next week where we'll be talking about Top Gear.
Yeah, join us next week when we'll be doing our predictions on the season finale of Top Gear. I really hope that...
James May's going to die.
Yeah. James May is going to get bitten and then they'll have to amputate his leg. The stick will have a heart attack. Right. Right, thanks very much. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Bye-bye.